Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Crystal, what are we doing today?
Well, we have an ugly new chant that erupted at the president's rally last night we have to talk about. And we've also got a big guest on the show, Congressman Al Green, who's been a leader in the movement to impeach this president. We're going to get his thoughts on all the latest news, all that today on Rising. Saagar, what are you looking at today?
I'm looking at the decision to impeach or not to impeach the president, or impeach or not impeach the president. The House Democrats have undertaken. Representative Al Green reintroduced articles of impeachment. He garnered almost 100 votes, even though it was dramatically defeated, despite the fact that the House of Representatives Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, came out strongly against it. Many of the Democratic caucus does not even want this, but it's an impeachment flameout. But the part of the problem is that they are also battling for the very soul of the Democratic Party right now, which is they have to decide whether they are going to get things done or whether they're going to impeach Trump. They're going to lay a historical record that what happened and what is happening currently is so fundamentally un-American that it warrants the articles of impeachment being filed against the president for only the third time in American history. All of this, unfortunately, it's going to benefit Trump. He's going to play for it because the truth is that they just don't like him. It's not that there are impeachable offenses. It's not that there's anything beyond the fact that they want to damage and wound President Trump going into re-election. It is only going to benefit him because he can say that it is a political game. And I think it sets an extraordinarily dangerous precedent in this country to impeach somebody just because you don't like them or you don't like the results of the preceding election. I remember a speech in 1868 when they were doing impeachment. I remember reading about this, and they were talking about impeachment proceedings against President Johnson, and a senator who hated President Johnson. He stood up and he said, "I will not stand for this. I will vote against this because if we set this precedent, the history of our country will be written by people who don't like somebody and will impeach them without cause." And I think, Crystal, we need to think much more about the words of that senator and the precedent of the U.S. senators at that time that thought in a much farther reaching direction. And there's no recognition of that amongst a lot of the people who are pushing for impeachment.
My feelings on this are complicated because I think judged by the historical standard, this president has committed impeachable offenses. But what does that mean? I mean, there's no specifics laid out for what an impeachable offense is. It's a fundamentally political action. I don't think the politics of it are as straightforward as people assume, right? This is all chaos theory. If you pretend to know this is going to lead to a bad result or this is going to lead to we don't know. So we have to go on what we think is right. My fear with impeachment is not that he doesn't deserve it. My fear is that impeachment is a not very good way of dealing with this particular threat of this particular man. And it is potentially a terrible way of dealing with the underlying currents that have brought him to power. It may just inflame those sentiments and make the movement even harder to defeat. And the movement is what we should be afraid of because it's far more powerful than this one incompetent blowhard that we have in the White House right now.
Which is so. Look, I mean, I don't agree with it, but if you want to defeat this, it needs to be done at the ballot box. If you want to repudiate this truly in our political system, that we have to work through the institutions that we have built at the ballot box, retake the presidency, retake the Congress. Impeaching somebody in these with our representatives is something that is fundamentally undemocratic, and that is why it would only inflame many of the people.
We have to show that we can win.
Right.
That's what has to happen. Coming up on Rising, so much activity on the House floor last night, including, as we were just discussing, a resolution to impeach the president.
Joining us next, Congressman Al Green. He introduced the resolution. He has plenty to say about it. We speak with him live from Capitol Hill next when Rising continues.